I'll show you how it's done. Shazam!
Hey there everybody, welcome back to Underdeveloped, and here we are with a review of a new movie, Spy Kids 5. I'm kidding, it's Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania, though looking at it you could think it's Spy Kids 5. I thought it was Spy Kids 5 at times.
Well, the one that we compared it to was Sharp Boy and Loud Girl, because that's when Mr. Electricity died.
Yeah, that's the easiest comparison.
By the way, spoilers, obviously, the movie's already out. You should see it if you haven't seen it already. I guess it's important because if you're a Marvel fan, it's probably going to build up to...
Yeah, if
Kang
you're a
Dynasty
Marvel
and stuff.
fan and you're interested to see where they're going with Kang, you kind of can't not watch this movie.
Yeah.
You don't really have an option.
John Majors was, like, really good in Loki as in He Who Remains. Like, he was really good in that one. Like, he really enjoyed the role. He had fun. I know this is, like, a different version of him, but I was not feeling this version of him as much as that version. I don't mind him as a villain. Like, I thought he did a good job. Like, the Celestials, they're, like, real gods. You know what I mean? Like, so, I don't know if he could fuck with any, like, Ash or anything else like that. But even so, you would think he'll trigger like the attention of those beings, because those beings pretty much monitor the multiverse. They really monitor the multiverse. You know, they keep things, you know what I mean, in balance. So I'm like, if somebody disrupting balance like that at that large scale, pretty much making a mockery of time. You know what I mean? Like the dude destroyed. He's fucked up. The dude destroyed reality essentially. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he kind of
he's broken. He's the reason why there's a multiverse essentially. Like he just like thousands of copies of him.
Like
that's making a mess of time.
Honestly, this movie has way too many characters. The more I really think about it.
A lot of movies have a lot of characters.
Like I feel like no one really has time to shine in this.
Not really.
Like, the only one who kind of does is MODOK, who's just so awful. You can't like. I can see why people.
He had such a bugged out moment in this.
I know, like, some people like think he's so bad that they love him, and I kind of understand and respect that, but I just can't agree.
Like, yeah, I'm a total dick, and he had a whole weird end scene with Sky. Is like, no, you guys were never friends. What are you talking about? I know they're trying to make it. I know exaggerated for comedic effect, but oh my god, seriously. And then you saw his fucking face with the most terrible CGI squished up. Like, ew.
And you saw his ass.
Yeah, and he pretty much he's like somebody who was pooped out of Inside Out from Pixar. Honestly,
He looks like Mr. Electric from fucking Shark Boy and Love Girl. He's like George Lopez.
Why would you return? Like, you are a somewhat respected actor. Like, why would you return this?
Yeah, like, why did they make that change to MODOK?
And that's not even MODOK. It's not even actual MODOK. Like,
no, like, honestly, I feel like they were too afraid that MODOK would be too challenging of a concept to take seriously, so they didn't even try. I firmly believe that's what happened. Because, like, I feel
MODOK story anyways, because I'm not even sure.
I mean, it's something vaguely similar. It's nothing to do with the quantum realm or anything, but it's like, again, I'm not like an expert on this subject by any means.
But overall, what kills this movie just, you know what I mean, just stupidness. This is what killed a lot of things that just didn't make sense. Like Kang, the whole point with, like, Kang is so out of Ant-Man's league, they had to kind of find a way to make him useful against him. Because, like, I mean, Kang has pretty much a god level intellect, fucking a god level suit. A suit that pretty much makes him a god, essentially.
Yeah.
And you tell me you didn't build in like any kind of thing that can miniaturize or blow up so you can get the battery.
He doesn't understand Pym particles, apparently.
Yeah,
I don't know
like,
how he doesn't understand. He should.
You're pretty much the end of human evolution here. You're like the pinnacle of human arrogance.
Yeah, but instead you're outsmarted by some random dude who doesn't even understand the tech made by Michael Douglas, who's portraying not Hank Pym, but a homeless man that's obsessed with ants, because that's exactly what he looks like in this movie.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I thought there were fun parts in him.
Honestly, I kind of have to disagree with you in terms of how the thing looked. I mean, I'm not going to say you're wrong for liking how it looked, but I just couldn't get into how the quantum realm looks. I don't like that it looks like a video game. I feel like it looks too artificial, that like no one's actually there. Like, it looks like someone's playing High on Life in the background the whole time, because it looks a lot like that game, which I just beat for the channel.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally like just a lot of characters in the Quantumania that looks like video game characters, or like straight out of like a Disney Pixar movie.
I mean, I guess. I mean, with the character designs, I'm a little more forgiving for the most part, but like for me, it's mostly the backgrounds.
But those character designs look, that's quality look more like a video game. The characters Like all the like that blob thing and the thing with the light fucking fixture on.
Oh, those two especially look like video game characters.
Yeah, but that's like
those two especially.
And in the moving buildings, like most of those like characters look like game characters. That's like the most video gamey part. But I like
think how most video gamey parts are actually like the environments themselves, especially whenever they're any sort of like nature foliage kind of thing. Like when they're like around buildings.
The skies looked.
Even the skies, like it doesn't.
Cool.
The skies don't look like they're like actually there though. Like it looks like they're like being projected behind them.
I don't know. It looked pretty cool to me. I mean, it wasn't the best CG work I've seen, but it was cool enough. I mean, the way it looked and the way like they were setting up, I thought it was gonna be like a fun adventure film to find an item and return it and go against the evil Kang. Like I thought that was the vibe it was gonna go with, like really Pixar adventure movie, and I was cool for that because that's a unique concept, like a super live action movie.
That might have actually been entertaining,
but yeah, they kind of just dropped the ball with that, like just kind of just because the setup was all good. I really liked the movie until like probably like an hour in, so I'm kind of okay, this is getting a little stupid. But the whole like setup though, with explaining Kang's whole thing, and also you know what I mean, like him getting to the Quantum and meeting all these new characters, and we realized Janet Pym is like hiding secrets, you know what I mean? Like, and we begin to learn who she was in this world, and we're seeing Scott and his daughter Cassie get caught up in their war against Kang. Gonna be like a cool adventure movie. Like, I thought those winding up to be like a real Disney Pixar adventure action movie. I'm like, yeah, that sounded cool. You know what I mean? Like, so I thought that's what route they were going, and it just kind of fell flat in his face.
No, the ants raise so many goddamn questions in this movie. Because, like, the very first time we see them, like, they're in the ant farm, and, like, Michael Douglas just kind of brushes with the fact, like, oh, yeah, they've been building their own technology. That's weird. And they just, like, kind of continue as if, like, he didn't just say that. I'm like, what? That's fucking insane. How are they making their own technology? I know, like, you taught them to maintain your technology, but actually creating it themselves? Like, that's, like, a whole another step of stuff. And then at the end, and then like later in the movie, they're like, "Oh, the ants experienced 1,000 years of time at once," which makes me ask, why didn't that happen to you? Because the ants came in the same quantum realm at the same time as you. So why did that happen to them but not you? So much about this movie just doesn't add up.
Yeah.
And that's the movie, and like the whole moral we get at the end is probably like, oh, it's okay, don't think about it. Oh, it's okay that I may or may not have doomed the universe from here on now. I mean, it's fine. Everything will be fine. It's all hunky-dory. We'll just laugh it off as always, because God forbid we actually take something serious.
Like, they were taking it serious for a second, and they're like, nah, it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, it was a comedic thing. I mean, it's been done before. It's nothing unique, but
that's the thing.
I thought it was kind of funny. I think Paul was a good person.
That's the thing I hate about it. It's been done before. They do it all the time. I'm sick of it.
But a lot of things has been done before.
And I hate that.
I mean, it makes sense to a character like Scott. You know what I mean? Like, he's just a jolly, kind of happy-go-lucky comedy guy. That's why you get Paul Rudd for a role like this. So, I mean, I'm not surprised that he's beyond that. I thought he should have a little bit more caution to win. You know what I mean? And he would treat like that for a second, and he kind of just like, okay, nah, it's not a big deal. I think it's fine.
Again, please, just stop making these movies fucking comedies. They're not funny.
I mean, a lot of people do because people was laughing at it.
I don't get what it wasn't funny.
I think we had a lot of funny moments.
I don't think it did.
I thought it did.
I thought this movie was filled with cringe, especially with the daughter. The daughter was a very cringe.
Yeah, okay, sure. But I mean, there's a lot of most of the movie it had me chuckling. First, I really liked the first hour, and I thought it was a pretty entertaining movie. It had a lot of inconsistencies and a lot of things that just didn't make sense, especially like involving like the main plot in Kang, like with the whole like, you know what I mean, like Kang needs Ant-Man to power up his core. Like, fuck out of here, you know what I mean? Like, you're supposed to be this smart and this like from the future and live this much lives, and you don't understand like what Pym particles can do and the whole thing of miniaturizing objects and blowing up objects. Get the fuck out of here! Like,
yeah, like you couldn't have found, or even then you couldn't have found out some other way to fucking go out the quantum realm yourself, because like a little girl found her way down there, and you couldn't figure that out.
I mean, he got to the quantum. That's another thing stupid. He got to the quantum realm before, so I'm like,
yeah, he couldn't figure out how to get out. Like someone as smart as him, and like nothing against Janet.
And the thing is, how you blowing yourself up in the quantum realm when blowing yourself got you out of the quantum realm before?
Yeah.
Like, blowing up to extremely large scale got him out of the quantum realm beforehand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did. And here it's like, oh, well.
And now they just treat him like a different multiverse. Okay.
Yeah. it's really doesn't make sense. Speaking of which, like there is one scene that I thought was okay, but I could have done way better, which is when Scott's giant, he's attacking the wall and stuff. I would have loved it, absolutely loved it, if they shot this movie like an old school Godzilla movie, where he's just stomping around, just busting the city. Everyone's panicking.
But that would play into the whole joke aspect, what you didn't even like about the movie in the first place.
But that's the thing, because that's a joke that would actually be funny. That this normal dude could actually have be like Godzilla. That would be an actual joke. And actually that reminds me of something that really bugged me watching the movie. I just remembered it now. I just during the movie theater, I finally realized what was really bugging me about all these anime movies the most, and it came all flashing back to me when Ant-Man and his daughter hug each other, and his immediate reaction was, "You're tall, you're big," and I'm like, "Wait, is she?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, shit, they are big," because they don't the cinematography doesn't adjust when they're really tiny or really big. They're just the same all the time. So I thought they were just normal size when they're hugging at first. And I'm like, oh wait, no, they're massive. There's you could have at least alleviated this if you just had a lower angle to make him look a little bigger.
Sure, why not?
But they never do anything like that. For them, sometimes they do, but it's for very short scenes. For most of the cinematography, they just mostly shoot it as if they were a normal size, and really messes with my eyes. Because it really misses my perspective of how big this is supposed to be. Actually, that's one of the things I like about the first movie, because I understood that a lot better, because you had things especially in the climax, you had really big things becoming tiny, you had really tiny things becoming massive. I thought that shit was cool. I thought that was one of the coolest things you could have done this concept, and I feel like the other movies don't really explore that in interesting enough ways.
Alright, what's your score for this movie?
Oh, 40.
40? Alright, so it's even lower than what they gave it. They gave it a 48.
Yeah.
The first was probably the best just because everything meant more. Everything meant more in that movie. There's higher stakes, you know what I mean? A lot more human emotional elements to it. Scott, you know what I mean, wanting to be a good role model for her father, doing something with his life. You know, Hank wanted to prevent people from manipulating, using his technology for the wrong things. And Evangeline, she wanted to become, next Wasp. She wanted respect, whatever else. Mm-hmm. And so they all had real arcs. And the 203 had been worse on because I just didn't like the villain. I thought the villain was boring. Underuse of Lawrence Fishburne, as I said earlier. But I guess they did some things better than the other one. I thought there was more of I thought there were just had I thought the second one probably had I probably still overall just pretty much a more well done movie, I guess. But the third one to me still, even though I think the third one still did things better. I thought the first hour was a lot more entertaining than a lot of the second movie, and I like Kang as a villain way more than the other villains that from the other anime movies.
Yeah, Kang is easily the best villain of the three.
So because they did those things better than the other Ant-Mans, I have to kind of give at least somewhat a reason, a score. I don't want to grease it, give it too low. 40 is that's real bad territory. I'll probably say this is just mediocre at best. So 60.
Mm-hmm.
And Rotten is usually very nice on Marvel movies too. So
yeah,
the fact that it gave it a 48 tells you a lot.
This is it's pretty much just this Eternal.
Yeah, the Eternal to me was way better than this movie in my opinion. But yeah, fair enough. That's our scores. Tell us what you think about this movie. Do you like it? Do you hate it?
What do you think about the comparison to other Ant-Mans?
Yep. And what do you think about Kang? Are you excited to see more of him?
Mm-hmm. A whole lot more.
A whole lot more because there's a bunch of him. Huh.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of am. I like Jonathan Majors, and I think I'm just seeing him on screen.
He's easily the best part of the movie.
Yeah,
for sure.
He's the one glimmer of hope the MCU has going forward.
Yeah, he really does. He's pretty much at this point mending a broken MCU.
Yeah, at least he's trying, and yeah. I do appreciate the effort.
So guys, take care. Have a good one. Catch you next video.
She's into these scenes and she'll get dramatic and crying. So I go, hey, cut, there's something, what's the matter? And she goes, I'm acting.